Alrighty, welcome. Good morning. Episode 186, 5, 4, 3, 2. Happy April 21st. Day after 420. What's going on? Okay, so let's talk about very important subject matter. And when I say very important, I mean one that is important and one that I think is off. I think I'm not allowed to talk about it. But we're definitely gonna talk about it because it's funny and comedy is needs to be. We need what we need, honestly, since we're already kind of going to socialism. We need to create a system where everybody has to listen. No, my lighter died. No, maybe I can still get it lit. Come on, buddy. Oh, that's gonna destroy. Oh, that's so annoying. Oh, I can't light it. My lighter died. Son of a bitch. Maybe I can light something on fire and then light it on fire. Oh, that sucks, dude. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I got it. I got one. I got two. I got three. Magic. We got it lit. All right, we're lit. We have to enforce a policy in this country where everybody has to listen to comedy for at least an hour a week. I put up a poll on Instagram about reopening Maryland. I'm really fascinated to see how people respond to this because we'll see. I think when you put up a question like should we reopen Maryland or whatever we should do, those are definitely stolen. People think that I'm like super pro reopening, even though I am. I definitely want to reopen. Like I'm not gonna lie, I want the state to be open. Like so many states, I get jealous. I really do. Let's see what the poll says. Here we go. So far, it's only 3-1. So we have, should we reopen Maryland? So far, only 8 people viewed it. I just literally posted a few minutes ago. And we have 3 people who say yes, 1 person that says no. The 1 person who says no is a nurse, so I guess I could totally understand that. But dude, it's just, let's go. Come on. I feel like every episode I'm just getting up here and I'm just like, yo, Hoax, what are you doing, brother? I think it's coming anytime soon. I did a little bit of math. 42%. We're vaccinated 42%. Fauci, Grouchy, who, by the way, Fauci's the same dude who's going on the news and saying things that he still wouldn't do. And he said he wouldn't go to the movie theaters. He wouldn't go out to a restaurant that's indoor. Like, I'm getting so, like, confused now. Like, I thought the vaccine was the ticket. Like, I really did. I literally thought if you got the vaccine, you could do whatever. Right? Because in the belief of the vaccine is a belief that you won't get COVID. But people who get the vaccine are still terrified of COVID, which doesn't make sense. And the same people, and this is wild, and this is kind of crazy, the same people who were and are terrified of COVID, about it just killing everything and it will completely destroy you. I'm not saying it would. I'm not speaking on the science here. I'm just speaking on the sociology here, the study of humankind for me, human people for me. I guess there's only 2 types of people. There's only 1 type of human, and it's a people. And people are a human. The same people who were terrified of COVID, even though dying from COVID, even though it was like the chances of death were so tiny, like 0.02% chances of dying from COVID. Let's see. What are the odds of getting severe COVID symptoms? 1 in 6 will have severe problems. So other people who get COVID. What is the recovery rate of COVID? Okay, so let's just say it's between 97 and 99.75%. So let's just to please everybody, let's just go with the lowest. And this is from WMD. I don't know who, experts, I don't know. But 97 between 99.75. I've heard 99.8. But let's just say 3% of people fully recover from COVID. Such a low percent. The same people who were freaking out over that are freaking out over J&J, which has a 0.00001% chance of developing a blood clot, which of six people who developed blood clots, 6 of them were females. So COVID sexed us, apparently COVID sexed us. I'm kidding. But maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not kidding. Maybe when it was, I shouldn't say because I don't want to get ads removed, because I get ads removed literally every single episode now. Like, for anybody who thinks that you make a lot of money podcasting, you only make a lot of money podcasting if you have sponsors and you don't rely on the ad revenue. I don't have sponsors, but I rely on the ad revenue. And all my ad revenue, they still put ads up there, but I don't get paid for anything because I always talk about things like COVID and YouTube and Google. They all sleep in the same bed with COVID, and it's like, and the politicians, and they don't like freedom of speech. They don't believe in that anymore. You're not allowed to say funny things because people lose their mind. But when there's factual information that only 6 people at the time, this time last Monday, at the time, 6 out of 6.8 million doses that were given developed blood clots, we all lose our mind, and we have this beautiful vaccine that's doing wonders, and it makes people, the odds of getting severe COVID are super low, and it's 66% effective, and the 34% that you can get isn't severe, and it's like a 1% chance to get the severe one, and it's like blah blah blah. We love these vaccines, and then boom, they put a pause through J&J over 6 cases. 6 cases. That is insane. That whoever's deciding to do that, I don't know if it's the FDA or if it's the CDC. I don't know if it's part of Washington. I don't know who's doing it, but that was, I honestly, and this is gonna definitely get my ads pulled and people are gonna hate me, but it seemed like the most irresponsible thing to do. It really did, because you can't tell me that the Pfizer and Moderna don't develop blood clots too. The whole time the whole thing was going on, I was like, wait, are we not, like, why is it just J&J that's under fire? What happened to Moderna and Pfizer? And by the way, I say all this, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I got the Moderna vaccine, and I'm about to get the vaccine again on the 25th. But I think that was such an overreach to just pause the vaccine. And now Fauci's saying we can restart it on Friday, but why can't we restart it on Monday? If we can restart it on Friday, why can't we do it on Monday? Did we redo the formula and we're not telling the people? Like, what does that even mean? And also, what do you expect from vaccines? Like, was the vaccine supposed to be 100% safe? No. Like, no, but when you outweigh, like, it's basic economics, opportunity cost. What is the opportunity cost? If we don't do this vaccine, this is going to happen. If we do this vaccine, this is still going to happen at a much lower rate, but this could happen, but that thing is so tiny, and it's a controlled variable, whereas with COVID, it's not a controlled variable. But when you have a vaccine, you can control it. You have the power to do what you want with it, and you can study it, whereas COVID is just rampant. Like, I think pausing J&J was a huge mistake. I mean, I know in Maryland and Virginia, they stopped doing it. And now you're having people who are terrified of the vaccines, which were probably people that were pro-vaccine. And it's like, it was single-handedly, I think it was the biggest, out of all the things that the CDC and WHO and FDA, by the way, FDA is way too big. The FDA controls the food and the drugs. What's going on here? Why don't we just have a food agency and a drug agency? Why are they sleeping in the same bed? We're going to make sugar super cheap. Here's Michael Conspiracy. We're going to make sugar super cheap. We're going to put it on every label. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to make the whole world addicted to it. We're going to rage out on fat. We're going to say fat will kill you. Fat's bad for your heart. It's the worst thing since sliced bread. We're going to do this because why? Oh, well, we also are the drug agency. So maybe if we can get all these people hyped up on sugar and addicted to sugar, we can raise blood pressure, we can demonize the fat industry because the profit margins are much lower on higher fat foods. Why? Because it's meat, and meat is expensive to grow. Meat is expensive to kill. It requires a lot more resources. So we don't want people addicted to fat and proteins and healthy fats, healthy proteins. Nah, dude, we want people addicted to table sugar. So let's do it. Let's put it in everything. Let's put it in milk. Let's put it in cereal. Let's put it in chips. Let's load it up in all the drinks. Let's say it's a healthy drink. Let's say it's 90% or juice, natural juice. Let's play these games with people. And then, these kids are going to grow up, and then, 10, 15, 20 years later, when they're 35, 40, 50, 60 years old and they have diabetes or they're sick or they're unhealthy, we can give them all the drugs that we've just passed for diabetes, for high blood pressure, for high cholesterol, for all these things that didn't exist 100 years ago. And this is not a conspiracy. This is, if you just look at the world, it's so obvious. Why has America gotten so fat? Because of all the sugar and all the food. That's just the truth. It's crazy to me to think that someone would look at that and be like, you're a crazy nut conspiracy dude. The facts are, America is fatter than it's ever been. The world is fatter than it's ever been. The countries that don't have an abundance amount of sugar and everything are not as fat as America. That's just the truth. We're an addicted country. We demonize people who are addicted to heroin. We demonize people who are addicted to alcohol. We demonize people who are addicted to sex. We demonize people who are addicted to gambling. We demonize people who are addicted to cigarettes. We say you are bad people. You're a waste to society. You're a burden to society. But we don't demonize people who are addicted to sugar. Actually, we embrace it. We celebrate it. We have it at holidays. We have it at birthdays. We have it at bar mitzvahs. We have it at Kwanzas. We have it at Christmases. We love it. We say it's beautiful. We actually say sugar makes you sweet. It makes you a good person. Oh, sugar makes you a happy, happy person. And then when you get fat, when you get really fat, we still don't talk about your food addiction. We talk about trauma. And yes, that has a lot to do with it. But also talk about how these huge corrupt industries such as Kellogg and Mars and Hershey, how these guys have paid off everybody. They probably put so much money in the pockets of politicians and the FDA and all this good stuff. And I'm once again not trying to say I'm a conspiracy theorist. This is just facts. I guarantee you can find all this stuff. I almost 100% guarantee you could. This is just what happens. It's cheap. Money can be made. Let's get America addicted. Then let's start making up these issues. It's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this, it's because of their sex, it's because of their gender, it's because of their socioeconomic standpoint, it's because of their race, it's because of so many things. Meanwhile, the corporate businesses, and look, I'm such a hypocrite. I invest in the S&P, which invests in these sugar companies. Meanwhile, and I'm aware of that. I'm a capitalist. I believe in making money off of assets. One of the biggest assets that you could do is the market and real estate. But and meanwhile, the corporate businesses are just bringing in the cash and letting people argue with each other. I don't know why I went on this rant about the FDA, but it's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I was talking to my girl about this, and my girlfriend, I hate saying girl. It sounds like they're not like my girl. Like, what? They're not my property. You should see my girl. Like, what are you talking about? What do you have, a baby? like what do you mean your girl? You should see my girl. She's so cool. Like, you got a baby. That's a baby. A girl's a baby. Yo, imagine if girls did that. Imagine if like Taylor is out there. She's like, yo, you should see my boy. What? Your boy? What do you mean? What do you mean your boy? You mean your side piece? Side piece. What the hell? This sounds like a gun. But it is. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. It's so bad that when people tell you that they eat a carnivore diet, which I've done, which I don't really do right now. I do. I eat low carb now. I do. I eat low carb because America's addicted to sugar. And when you're addicted to anything, it's not good. I'm not saying you can't have sugar, but what I am saying is I think it's healthy for people to really understand the forces that are hiding behind the weeds, that are pulling the levers to everything. They're pulling the levers. They have the control. They really do. You see a medication commercial, and it just looks like a happy, happy family. Like the happiest family in the world. Just frolicking, follicles, hair follicles. Let's just say flocking. Just flocking through the daisy forest of flowers on the streets and the rows and having a good old day. Nothing's bothering them. Woohoo! Good time to be alive. Great time. Whoa! Yeah, doing all that stuff. Meanwhile, it's because they're taking this antidepressant. Just happy as hell. Fast forward 2 years later, they've still been taking the antidepressant. Their brain, the chemistry is all jacked up. They go through a divorce. They lose their job, so they get off the antidepressant because they starting to feel depressed, and now the brain chemistry is all messed up, and now they're addicted to the thing, so they need the thing, and then 2 years later after that, they have a gun in their mouth about to shoot themselves in the corner. That's the reality or they're out of school shooting up the school. That's the reality. But the reality is never the truth. The reality can never be the truth because people do not like it. Because the truth is scary. And the truth makes people uncomfortable. And what people hate the most is being uncomfortable. So if I'm someone and I'm saying, hey, man, just so you know, the FDA, they give huge tax benefits. I need my card or the emissions. You get huge tax benefits if you just do a lot with sugar. You get, you also have a relationship with the drug industry. So you're selling it super cheap because you get tax benefits, so you don't have to pay all the taxes. Your profit margins are really high because you're dealing with addicts. The same reason why like cigarettes and alcohol have such high margins. Thank God the dog is barking. Because people keep coming back. It's a very cyclical cycle, and it's a genius business move. But I think people just need to be aware of it. It's concerning to me that people just accept so many things without questioning it at all. Thank God my dog is still barking at a dog. They've been walking across for 10 years, 8 years. I don't know how old she is, 6 years. Sugar-free lemonade, Kool-Aid. But I guess the J&J thing just kind of threw me off because I heard people freaking out over it, and it was really concerning to me that it was so off-brand. It was so off-brand for the CDC and the FDA because the entire time they've been doing as much as they can to get people to get the vaccine. And then they put out this statement about how it's causing blood clots. And you actually had to look for the information. Like, they didn't just say cause blood clots 6 out of 6.8 million people or doses. You actually had to look for the information. It just didn't make sense. It's almost like this is definitely conspiracy land. It's almost like they don't want people to get the Johnson & Johnson. They want people to get Moderna and Pfizer. And that doesn't make sense. Is there a connection with Pfizer and Moderna and government? Because it doesn't make sense. Whatever. I don't really feel like getting conspiracy land because that's when I love it. Like, it's kind of wild. Like, I listen to a lot of really good stuff. I listen to a lot of, oh God, the verdict is coming out for the George Floyd, incident. I hope they find him guilty. Jesus Christ. They have to. They have to. The dude murdered him. If they don't, then it's going to be chaos. And this time, and the last time too, but it is deserved chaos. If he comes out not guilty or if he comes out with like a really light sentence, what we have coming for us is deserved. Because Derek Chauvin is a murderer. He's a cold-blooded murderer. And he needs to go to jail for a long time. Dude, there's been so many shootings lately. It's crazy. It's also, get your vaccines if you want to. If you don't, also, by the way, if you are talking to someone and they don't want their vaccines and like that doesn't mean they're anti-vaccine. It doesn't mean they're anti-vaccine. It might honestly just maybe you could think about this for a second. Maybe it's because they don't want the vaccine because if they get COVID, they'll be fine. Maybe it's that. Maybe there's really healthy people out there who are not afraid of COVID. And if they do get COVID, they won't spread it. They'll stay at home to follow the rules. Like, don't be so judgmental on people who don't want the vaccine. Like, I hate that. Like, I cannot stand people who are showing off the vaccine here. Like I don't know. Maybe I think it's good for people to get the vaccine, but it's not bad if you don't get the vaccine. Like, you could be friends with somebody who doesn't get the vaccine. Like, you don't have to look at them. Like, also, if you don't get the vaccine, doesn't mean you're like a huge Trump supporter. It does not mean that at all. Like, I don't know. I got the vaccine, but I would never tell somebody to get the vaccine. I also don't tell people I got the vaccine unless they talk to me about it. I don't know. It's not your responsibility to tell another grown man or woman what to do. Like, Jesus Christ. Maybe if we just all like really spend time with ourselves and we maybe, Jordan Peterson says it best in 12 Rules for Life. It's one of the first rules. He says, make your bed. He said, before you judge somebody else's room, make your own bed or something like that. And it's the truth, man, because a lot of people don't have their shit together, but they're so quick to go out and just tell somebody, hey, you're this, you're that, because you did this happened, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, your room is completely out of order and your life is out of order and you're actually very insecure, and that's why you're out there yelling at somebody else because your life is falling apart. Like, let's be obvious here. How many of us have a life that we're truly, let me text her back real quick. I'm sure you will, and it's okay to have a few rough days. It makes you appreciate the good ones. It's okay. Like, it's okay to, let me just check this real quick because rude. Go back up, Doji, to the moon. I don't know. Make your own bed first before you talk about somebody else's. Like, people are not responsible. I don't know. But what's up with all these mass shootings? Like, it's crazy, man. They're just coming on every single day. I don't know why. Here's my opinion why all these mass shootings are occurring like daily. So the one thing so I live in Annapolis, so I live right near Baltimore and I live right near DC, and DC has this fair share of violence, but Baltimore makes DC look like a really nice playground. Like, it really does. Baltimore is a rough area. There's a lot of reasons for that. The Baltimore Police Department, extremely corrupt, still to this day. The crack epidemic crushed Baltimore. Redlining crushed Baltimore. The systematic racism is incredible in there. Not incredible as good, but like incredible as like, holy crap, that's horrible. There's no job opportunities in Baltimore. And it's just, there's nothing there. There's just nothing there. The highway system has created a situation where you can't find good jobs. They've completely pocketed the lower income part of the cities. It's just a rough area. The heroin there is incredible. Once again, incredible in the sense that everyone's on it. It's a hard area to get out of. It really is. And what's really fascinating about all the shootings is, I don't know if I should say this. I think I will say this. It's disturbing to me how much shootings that happen in predominantly white areas in the suburbs are covered in a manner that is not seen. The shootings that happen in white neighborhoods, white areas, the suburbs, places that frankly have more money that aren't in rougher areas, are covered in such a more intense way. It's sad because I was working out. It was like 6:30 in the morning on Saturday, and the news says 2 triple murders in Baltimore. Murders, and they're not classified as like shootings, like mass shootings. And it's sad because I think a lot of it has to do. Here's what I'm trying to say. We ignore violence that happens in lower income areas because there's this idea, and I don't know where it stems from. I think if I thought hard enough, I could put it together. But we do not recognize that as a problem. It's almost expected because that's the way it works in those areas, because it's a gang-on-gang violence. It is so disturbing to me how nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about these triple homicides that are taking place in Baltimore, that are taking place in D.C., because nobody cares. Because here's the truth. Here's the truth about a lot of people, a lot of middle-class, upper-class people. Listen to me, they only care about anything when it affects their life. And I see this where I live. I see this like it's a pandemic. Nobody cares about inner cities, poor people. Nobody cares until it affects their life. So when there's a shooting at a school, when there's a shooting at a mall that these rich, white, middle-class people want to go to because they want to get a new Vera Bradley sweatshirt, or they want to get a Cinnabon sweatshirt, purse, whatever, an UGG, I don't know what it is. Once their mall gets shot up, it's a huge, huge deal. Oh my God, my mall got shot up. I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I'm not saying that at all. And this is the thing, they're going to twist that into a way that I'm saying that it's okay for there to be shootings at the mall. No, I'm not saying that at all. But what is not okay is this constant turning of a blind eye to these inner city shootings, to these urban shootings, where in urban areas, there's just a shooting every single night. Every single night in Baltimore, if you wake up and you watch the news, there's another shooting. And there's another interview of an African-American mom crying because she lost her son, crying because she lost her dad, crying because she lost her husband. And nobody cares. No one's out there talking to these people. No one's trying to help them because it doesn't affect them. And it's so disturbing to see. There's so many people play this role that they care. When they don't care, they only care if they see it on their front doorstep. And that's my 2 cents on that. Mass shootings are horrible. But what's even more sickening to me is how people play ignorance until it's right in front of their face. That makes me so upset. It makes me sad. Like, it genuinely makes me sad. It makes me sad, man. I didn't grow up in a rough area, but I grew up in an area that had its fair share of violence. And you could talk to these people and they almost feel hopeless because nobody cares about them. The people only care about them when their life is being affected. We have a real issue in this country, not with guns, not with shootings. We have a real issue with this neglecting attitude we have of people that are not on our level financially. That's a real issue. We have a disconnect. You take somebody who lives in a more violent, impoverished area, and you take somebody who lives in a very rich, wealthy area, and you try to make them have a conversation, they won't know what to talk about. But guess what? That's the only way they'll talk. Because the rich person would never do it voluntarily because it doesn't affect their lives. That's the truth about things. And it sucks. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. But it is that way. The war on drugs caused an issue that is... I wouldn't protest for a lot of things. But the one thing that I am more passionate about than most things is war on drugs. I think it was single-handedly the most destructive thing that this country has ever done besides slavery. It ruined cities. It ruined African-American families. It ruined impoverished families. It ruined people. And all it did was create this systematic racism. It created the prison industrial complex where right now I could go invest money into a prison company and I could profit off of people's families being ripped apart over selling a plant. Meanwhile, this plant is now legal in New York. Riddle me that. You know how many people's lives are falling apart in jail? You know how many nonviolent criminals, offenders, nonviolent drug offenders are sitting behind bars right now, spending years in prison over selling marijuana because it was illegal at the time. Meanwhile, the whole state decides to legalize it, and now those people are still sitting behind bars. The government doesn't follow. They don't follow rules. If they break rules, they can't, because they'll just make a new law so they can do it. Oh man, we need money. Our state's falling apart. We have these extremely communistic ideas of a lockdown. We've ruined our cities. People don't have jobs. Blah 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 blah. We like people suck, and our city's falling apart, and crap, we need money. So what are we going to do? Okay, well, we're going to spike the tax increase by 14.8%. That's a good idea. Great idea. Way to go, New York. You're on the right track there, because people love paying more taxes. They're not going to just call up the business manager and be like, hey, man, we're moving to Texas, or hey, man, we're moving to Tennessee, or hey, man, we're moving to Florida. Nailed it with that one, New York. Good job on that one. But we could do that, and also let's legalize marijuana, because we could tax the crap out of it and make money off of that too. It's legal because we made it legal. It's like, I don't know. I love, man. I do. I hate when people don't care about things unless it's right in front of their face. It makes me sad. And honestly, I'm victim of it too. I really am. I'm victim of it. It's one of the reasons why I read so much. Right now I'm reading a book about real estate investing because I want to invest in real estate. I want to buy real estate. But there's some ethical things in it where I'm questioning. I'm like, oh man. Like there's one where you try to buy off people's mortgages who are in pre-foreclosure. You try to buy it cheaper so they can cash out, and then hopefully, because if you get kicked out of your house, it ruins your credit. You're homeless. You lose a lot of money. So there's this thing where you look up for foreclosures. You literally call the person who lives in this house and you say, hey, I'll buy this mortgage off of you. Sub the mortgage price a little bit cheaper. You just got to be out in 30 days. So then you buy someone's house, and a house is not just a house. A house is a life. A house is a whole world. It's a whole thing. Like I live in this house. I live mainly at Taylor's house, but this is so many memories in here. Good memories, bad memories, the worst memories, the best memories, crying and laughter. And you can just buy someone's house like that. And, and you fight these ethical battles all the time. And I think it's important to fight the ethical battles. I think it's important to not be blind in your life. You definitely cannot be colorblind, which is a beautiful book that I read called The Color of Law, because I think a lot of people are colorblind. I don't think people care about race as much as they care about socioeconomic status. And that's the truth. Money is powerful. Money rules the world, and money will always rule the world. So, yeah, way to make everything depressing, Michael. But I don't even know what I talked about. I talked about the FDA. I talked about inner city violence and how people don't give a shit about it. I had a lot of funny topics, but I didn't talk about them because I got angry. I got angry with things, and that's what I do. I talk about things I care about, and that's something I really care about. I don't like people being. I don't like hypocrisy. It pisses me off. But that's it, guys. That's all I want to talk about. I'm not going to go much longer. It's only a 35-minute podcast, but it is what it is, guys. I love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. The audio has been doing super well. I'm very grateful that people do that. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for the continued support of the Michael Lab Show. I know it's been a struggle lately, but we're coming in. I cross my fingers by the end of May, early June, hopefully, we should be open up. That's what I was going to say. By that time, we should be fully vaccinated. 75% should be vaccinated by that time. We're already at Maryland COVID vaccine. We're already at, as of April 18th, we're at 42.7%. By the end of April, we should be at 50%. By the middle of May, we should be at 65, 70%. So we'll see. Because May 18th, from March 18th to May 18th, we went up 20%. February 18th to March 18th, we went up 11 to 12%. So 12% between February 18th to March 18th, March 18th to April 18th, up like 20%. So it's increasing quickly. So we should be there before we know it. But thank you guys so much for listening. Please, if you want to donate to the podcast, you can. Financially, it helps out a lot. But if not, it's all good. I'll catch you guys in episode 186 of the Michael Lab Show with some funny white boy summer stuff. Thank you guys. Peace out.